So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at just some different tools that you can use to make yourself a lot more organized and efficient. So the first tool I want to talk about is called, these three of the tools are extensions. The first tool is clipboardextension.com. Basically, what this is it's a way that you can have, you know how when you're copying things in your clipboard, you'll only have the one copy, right? And maybe you want to go and access something that you copied like 3 times ago. What this does is it makes it so that you can access things that you copied previously. So I'm going to get in, say I'm writing a paper about quotes. What I've done is I've made since I made the copies of the quotes, some additional things that I copied. But what it does is it keeps a record of all the copies that I do on my clipboard. And it goes back many days. And so if I want to access something that I copied previously, I just click on it. And what it does is it makes a copy of it. And then if I paste it, it will just paste it right into my paper. So it's just a really good way of just having like a record of some of the additional things that you've copied. So you don't have to go back to wherever you were working and try and find it and try and find the copy and then, return to your paper and get it. You can get the copy right from the clipboard. So as you can see, I'm just using it to add copies for different things that I quoted. And then you can just paste it right in. And just as a kind of as part of that, one of the things that is easy to remember that is helpful for me to remember is that the keyboard shortcuts on a PC, it's Control C to copy and Control V to paste. And on a Mac, it's Command C to copy and Command V to paste. So that's one tool that I really like and that I think is really helpful and useful. The next tool I want to talk about or discuss is called TextBlaze. So what TextBlaze does is it makes it so that you can have things that they call them snippets, things that you maybe want to just really quickly add to a document or whatever you're working on, and it will automatically add that snippet into your document. And once again, this is an extension and it uses this backslash and then you give it a name. And when you use that backslash and name, if you're in a document, it will just automatically add that thing that you did. So one of them is /JR, and that will put my signature right into the document. You can also add additional snippets by clicking on this plus and adding it. So I was working on one here. If you add it, you can just give it whatever name you want. This one I'm just going to call hello. And as you can see, it's kind of going to take a little piece of that quote from Princess Bride. But once again, if I'm in a document, I just hit that backslash and then hello, and it automatically adds that snippet right into my document. So TextBlaze is just a really good way of just, if you have things that you know that you're typing all the time, maybe like the email address of an administrator or your own email address, it's just a really good way of making it so that you have a record. I will put one or make one caveat to that. You should never, ever, 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 ever store your passwords in this, because if someone does get an access of your Chrome browser and they get your passwords, then that compromises a lot of the things that you would have. So that's one thing I just would really caution against, is don't ever store a password when you're using it. The next tool that I want to talk about is a tool called DraftBack. So once again, this is a Chrome extension. And DraftBack is, it's not 100%, but it's a tool that I think is really helpful if you're trying to find out if a student is plagiarizing a document. And what this does is it creates almost like a visual record of all the modifications and the changes that the students have made to the document. And it plays it out like a video. So if I'm in this document and the extension is right here, if I click on it, what it's going to do is it's going to make like a revisions history. And if I click on that to play it, you're going to see that it actually types out what the student was writing kind of as they were writing it. So it makes like this record of what they've typed. And you'll notice that with that draft back, it automatically just pasted in like the entire content. Now, how or why is this useful? Well, if you have a student that went on to ChatGPT and put in a prompt and got basically a paper from ChatGPT and then pasted it into their Google Doc, you would be able to see that the student has basically just pasted the entire paper into their Google Doc. So it's a really good way of just checking to make sure that the student actually wrote the content themselves. Now, obviously, students, there are ways that they can get around this. It's not like foolproof or 100%, like you can't trick it. A student could print out the paper and then type it, and you wouldn't be able to tell. But, you know, a lot of students, the types of students that may be inclined to cheat by copying something may not be, what's the word I'm looking for, like either have the forethought or just have the patience to type something out themselves. So I think it's a really useful tool for just checking on what students are doing. The final thing that I wanted to show is just how a way that you can organize your bookmarks on Google Chrome. And what you see is I have a whole bunch of folders in my Google Chrome, and I've given the folders different icons. And the reason that I do this is it actually saves myself a little bit of space on my bookmark toolbar, so I can see more of what's available on the bookmark toolbar. So you'll notice that if you don't have the folder, a lot of times you'll have like quotes where it'll like have the entire thing typed out. And that would take up a lot of real estate on the bookmark toolbar. I want to avoid that. And so what I can do is I can make it so that if I want to make a bookmark, it's a lot easier to just right click on this and then select add a folder. And then I can add a emoji to represent whatever I'm talking about. So say I'm wanting to just have a record of the movies that I really like and Rotten Tomato reviews of the movies. I can hit on the PC, and I forgot what it is on the Mac, it's Control Command and Spacebar. I forgot what it is on a PC. I think it may be something like Control and period, but I'm not 100%. But I can hit a keyboard shortcut, and that will bring up my emojis, and then I can select emoji that matches whatever I'm trying to kind of store in that folder. So in this case, I want movies, so I'm just going to click on this popcorn emoji, and I'm going to hit save. And you'll notice that it may not be where I want it to be. If I want to move it, I just click and drag to wherever I want it to move. And then if I want to take bookmarks and add them to that folder, I can just click on the URL right in front of the URL and just drag that right into that folder. And then you'll see that it has that thing bookmarked right in the folder. So now I should have 2 bookmarks in my folder. Oh, I did Inception twice. Let's the other one I was going to do was a Truman Show. So as you can see, it's just a really clean and simple way to organize this, and it saves a lot of real estate on your bookmark folder, and it makes it just a lot easier to organize. So in review, we talked about 3 Chrome extensions. One is the Clipboard History Pro. The other one is Text Blaze, and the other one is Draftback. This one just keeps a record of all your copies. This one makes it easy for you to add snippets to a document. And you could even, if you wanted to, like, you know, say you're writing a letter of recommendation and you know a lot of, like for a college, for students, and you know a lot of the the language in your letters of recommendation are going to be similar, but maybe with some changes, based on the specific attributes of the student. You could even put in like there are ways that you can organize it. So you can put in like a whole bunch of information like that, and it will just automatically populate. And then the last one is draft back. And that's the way that you can tell whether or not a student has just copied and pasted content into their document. And that is all I'm going to share for today. Thank you guys very much.